Chapter 15, Part 2, pages 127 through 140. Good, well written. Excellent thinking, Deja. You challenged the context of my question. I puff my chest, not minding that everyone is looking at me. Write for me, class. What does it mean to be an American? Why does history matter? Mr. Schmidt picks up a marker. Why is history, he writes, relevant, alive, and personal? Being an American. Essay by Deja Barnes. I used to think I was just me, Deja, but I'm an American, connected to my school, my friends, my home. I am bigger and better than I thought I was. I am not alone. My family disappoints me, especially Pop. He wants to take me away from what connects me. But I think if I leave Brooklyn Collective Elementary, I will always be friends with Ben and Sabine, just like I will always be American. I stare at my words. America is my history, my story, not just homeless Deja. I don't know yet, but the towers falling is my history. I don't know how yet, but the towers falling is my history too. My friend Ben showed me. My friend Sabine shared her sadness. That's not a sentence, I know. History is about feelings too. I'm happy I'm American, but sometimes American history isn't happy. I feel proud of my essay. The title is better, focused. It's not perfect. There's sentence fragments, lots. I didn't know how I thought and felt what I wrote. Funny, looking at the words, I see me better. Deja, the original, the one and only. Pop still doesn't come. We do music, sing This Land Is Our Land. At my old school, we sang pop. Besides the national anthem, I never knew so many songs were written about America. Mrs. Cohn says, we're celebrating America. She gets a whole book of songs with the American flag and fireworks on the cover. In the afternoon, we have science. Pop must have gone home. I feel better, but what if Pop is waiting for the next day or the next to take me away? Maybe he's already visiting other schools. Mrs. Davis, our science teacher, is showing a video. She talks as she lowers the blinds and turns off the lights. Images flicker on the screen. A man's deep voice booms. David and Nelson Rockefeller wanted to revitalize Lower Manhattan. The Port Authority of two states, New York and New Jersey, cooperated to build the World Trade Center, a complex of buildings that included the Twin Towers, then the two tallest buildings in America. Construction workers dig a huge hole. Groundbreaking began in August 1966. The tall towers needed a strong foundation. Workers had to dig deep through silt to find firm soil. Men with yellow hats push and pull wheelbarrows, carry buckets. Trucks haul dirt and pour concrete while men hammer and weld. Layer by layer, a skeletal frame rises. As it grows, the men seem like acrobats, trapeze artists, balancing on beams, hands waving, guiding, positioning steel planks, lifting by huge cranes. 60 people died building the Twin Towers, architectural marvels that would forever symbolically represent the strength of America and its principles of democracy and capitalism. Amazing. I never thought how brave the people who built the Twin Towers had to be. Men working high in the sky on tiny platforms with no safety net to catch them. Skywalkers. Who knew? Were any of them alive to see the towers fall down? The North Tower of the World Trade Center was completed December 1970, and the South Tower was completed July 1971. Music swells and triumphs. The screen fades to black. Mrs. Davis turns on the lights. George and Angel pull up the blinds. We can see across the river. The skyline seems emptier than ever. Today we're going to do an exercise in building skyscrapers. What does it take to make a building tall, taller, and tallest? Instead of metal, concrete, and glass, our materials are straw, pipe cleaners, and paper clips. Form groups of 3. That's easy. Me, Ben, and Sabine. We sit in a small circle on the floor. Mrs. Davis hands us a bag of supplies. Each group has to build a skyscraper strong enough to support a golf ball. A golf ball? Asks Stasia. Ben takes a ball out of our supply bag. I've never seen a golf ball before. What do you do with it? Hit it with a club? Doesn't seem fun to me. Shh, says Mrs. Davis. Our experiment today will test how weight and foundations affect your mock skyscrapers. What are the key elements for building? Sabine raises her hand. Strong foundation. Good. What else? Beams, says Stasia, something that makes a tower rise higher and higher. How are we supposed to do that? Straws are weak. Manny bends a straw, blows air through it. Figure it out. Think like an engineer, Mrs. Davis stretches out the word engineer. A builder, like the men who designed the Twin Towers. Everyone gets to work, twisting, bending, trying to make straws stand on end. Ben picks up a pipe cleaner, a piece of wire with small fuzzy tufts. Sherlock Holmes cleaned his pipe with these, between smokes. I shiver. Sounds worse than cigarettes. Design first, says Sabine, clutching the pencil. Don't start with the materials. What do you mean? Like this, says Sabine, quickly sketching on the paper. She draws a wide base. That's why we've got paper and a pencil. You just can't start building a building without thinking about it. Critically, says Ben automatically. Yeah, I say, thinking is being hammered into us. We're good at it, says Sabine, drawing more. All around us, skyscrapers are quivering, crashing. Little white balls roll on the floor. Ben rolls a ball back. There, says Sabine, sitting up. Our skyscraper is firm and supporting the golf ball. Sabine, the engineer. Who knew? We're proud of our fake skyscraper. Nervous, we wait to see if the ball falls. Others start over, rebuilding. 1,000,000, no, 1,000,000,000,000 golf balls wouldn't have crashed the real towers. Ben looks straight at Sabine. No, she answers, grim. You'll have to come to my house again, won't you, Sabine? And before Sabine can answer, he adds, Deja, my mom says come over whenever you want to. She likes Ray and Lita. We're a team, aren't we? Ben sounds desperate, like he really and truly needs us. Sitting on the floor with the fake skyscraper, none of us says anything about sitting in Ben's room, about terrorists or tears, or the fact that me and Ben know deep inside that Sabine isn't always happy. We have our secrets. We're a club. We all know what made the towers fall. Me and Sabine know about Ben hurting, missing his dad. Ben and Sabine know I act tough when I'm frustrated. We'd all be lonelier without each other. I'd be the loneliest of all. Mrs. Davis stoops, her flats shiny, her hands on her knees. She stares at our skyscraper. You've won, she says. See, class, says Mrs. Davis, pointing. A strong foundation supports everything. Skyscrapers, engineers' dreams. It's amazing what people can build. We three grin, happy. The bell rings. We retreat back to homeroom. Deja, your pop is waiting for you outside. He's been here all day, I ask. Yes. Am I leaving? Miss Garcia knows what I'm asking. Not now, at least I don't think so. Our principal is very good at explaining curriculum. Every generation has new things to learn, like how the skyline changes. Miss Garcia gently squeezes my shoulder. We're all glad you're here, Deja. Principal Thompson wouldn't let you go without a fight. Neither would I. Thanks, I really, really mean it. I want to hug Miss Garcia, but I don't. Slowly, I stuff pencils and notebook into a plastic grocery bag. I'm not sure I want to go outside. Maybe Pop changed his mind. Maybe he's lost again. Sick. Kids rush from the classroom. Ben and Sabine are dragging behind. Slinging their backpacks over their shoulders, Ben draws close. Sabine does too, and out of the blue, she squeals like she's had the best idea ever. Turkish delight! My mother makes the best Turkish delight. What's Turkish delight, I ask. Dessert, says Ben. Better than brownies? Much better, says Sabine. We'll have some for Ray and Lita. Have a party at my house. Or mine, says Sabine. My friends don't mind that I don't say or mine. This makes me feel better. I walk outside. Pop sits on the school steps, his elbows on his knees, his head in his hands. I tap his shoulder. Pop? Deja, he wipes his eyes and cheeks. I don't ask why Pop's crying. He might lie or worse, tell me the truth I'm not ready to hear, like I'm leaving this school. Pop pulls me down onto the step, never minding kids are streaming past us. He hugs me, a rocking hug like he did when I was little, when I used to fit on his lap. They saw, Deja, Pop whimpers. They saw through the windows. Everybody saw. Who? Principal Thompson? Miss Garcia? Miss Garcia was a student, a fifth grader. Her mother, all the parents came to pick up their kids. How awful. Miss Garcia, as old as me, seeing the planes hit live. Days, weeks afterwards, there were ashes, paper bits from wallets, purses floating into the schoolyard. I tense. This is new information. Pop squeezes me so hard that I think I might start gasping, coughing. Over his shoulder, I see students so polite they waited until the street corner to stare back at me and Pop. I'm not mad. I'd stare too. Principal Thompson promised me you wouldn't see. No video, no photographs, some things a child should never see. I don't tell Pop I've seen the video. I wish I hadn't. Still, in a few years, I'll be in high school. Shouldn't I know terrorist planes fly into towers? When do kids get old enough? As far as I can tell, even Pop isn't old enough. I pull back. Pop's eyes are wet again. He rubs his head. Pop must have seen it. He'd never had a computer. There are library computers, but Pop doesn't like crowds. He didn't say children shouldn't know about things happening. He said children shouldn't see. How does he know about what was seen? It hits me. He was there before I was born. My world is shattered. My mind turns Pop's words inside out. Challenge ideas and assumptions, Mr. Schmidt said. History is relevant, alive, and personal. How come I didn't know? Pop's history affects me.